Okay, hi everybody. Welcome. Darth Bunyan here. Today we're joined by Liam. Welcome. How we doing?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you. And Taj, how you doing today?
Doing pretty good. Doing pretty good.
Good. Nice. We are a bit light today. We are without Three Dubs. We are without Flash Freak and Darren. They're all off doing our stuff. Hopefully Darren will be able to pop in soon. So fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Today we have a wonderful episode of Percy Jackson to discuss. With I gotta say, arguably the best portrayal of Cerberus live action that I've ever seen. So congratulations to them. And then afterwards we got two episodes of Hazbin Hotel to discuss, which um why did I didn't but I could if you want to start down that road. I'll start it off now. How do you feel about
Come
that?
and join us.
Yeah, he's sat doing household duties apparently. So
He's got time to message. He's got time to chat. So
there you go. But then we could just be on in the background, so we can't give him too much slack. Okay, so just a quick thought. How did everyone feel about Percy Jackson this week?
yeah, it was a great episode. Um, Totally different from the movie, as you said, which was good because I like the different depths and layers of what they've done with Hal in this episode. It was great. Oh, sorry, it with Hades.
Yeah. What were you told?
Oh, I loved it.
Yeah.
I think after rewatching it, it's definitely my second favorite episode of the season.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Okay. What I've got to ask now. What's your first?
The episode with Ares.
Really? Yeah.
Episode
Yeah.
5.
Yeah.
I really love that episode.
Same. I love that whole ton of love bit. I
The
found that
finale. The finale might, if they do it right, the finale might be my favorite episode.
Yes. Okay. Lots to discuss there with speculation about next week. Because as I was saying just before the stream, I've spent like 6 weeks telling everybody I am not watching these movies. I'm not watching it. I remember them so badly. This show's done so well. But now I am actually really, really glad I did. I've just sat and watched them the last 2 days. And yes, I still mainly have the same opinion. They are not great movies. They have some good moments in them, a lot of bad things, like Grover going like meh and eating cans. Don't know where that came from, right? Like that was a strong choice. Don't know. But then there are some good things. So say for example, the end of the movie ended with a whole flying shoe fight, right? Spoiler alert: in this episode, the shoes get swallowed into Tartarus, so we know that they are not going to be having a similar climactic scene as the movie. So it's going to be very interesting.
Looks like he's going to be battling Ares anyway, rather than Luke.
I think both. Maybe. I think both. Okay.
Unless it's just a red herring.
But when the episode starts, we come into a furniture shop in California. In the movie, the entrance to Hades is underneath the Hollywood sign, which was like a real on the nose thing. And here, they have to go through a person called Procrestus, who seems to be a half brother, yet another half brother of Percy, who back in the olden day, I think, was a king or at least a ruler of a certain size domain. And when everybody would visit his hotel, bar, or whatever it was, and they would go to bed, any part of their limbs, I think, that would hang over the edge, he would contort, twist, snap off, cut off, and then like basically dismember people and then leave them in the bed as they fit, which is like a whole thing for him. It's really weird. I don't know about that. So the person, interestingly enough, playing this person, Procrestus, is, I believe his name is Julian. But I'm coming back to you on the name. But basically, he is a veteran of the franchise. And I believe that he is the first person that was in both the movies and the show. Because in the movies, he played Chiron, however you say it. He was the ferryman that took them on the boat to Hades.
Oh.
And then now here he is guarding the entrance. So it's a very, very cool little Easter egg for everybody.
How much research did that take you?
No, I saw his face. I could spot that man's face out of nowhere. In Supernatural, he's death.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's a really cool actor. Like that guy, as much as like Lance Reddick has like a presence, that guy also has a presence. Like very, very much so. He's very, very cool. What did everybody think about Annabeth and Percy working together as a team? Because I thought that went quite well.
It's not the first time they've worked well as a team, though, is it? It's kind of a running occurrence throughout the whole series, so nothing new there, really.
Really cool as well that, well, I say cool, it's funny that Grover waited outside. Only one invisible hat. Sorry, I'm just quickly, it's gonna bug me. It's gonna bug me. Julian Richings, phenomenal actor. Okay, so then we get into the entrance. Procrestus knows Percy, and he knows he's his brother, which is interesting because as when we get to later on in the episode, Hades, as we know, is not a part of everything that's going on, right?
Yeah.
So it's interesting that whoever's plan this is has got Procrestus in on it, at least to some degree, guarding the place that they need to get to or get lost in, but not Hades himself. In fact, has stolen from Hades because that wasn't even in the movie. We're going to be getting to that later with the Helm of Darkness. That was a whole spin. I was not expecting that. That was awesome. Okay. Really, really interesting. So I love the fact that Grover gets a squeaky toy. It was so nice because like that could that you could say that's playing to either side of him. Do you know what I mean? Like either like just the really shy, scared person or the Satan side. You could either put that up to anything. You know what I mean? It's a lot better than eating a can, is all I'm going to say. I'm just really not going to let that go. And then I'm going to get to it next week, right? But there was a full scene where he's dancing with his legs off in a synchronized dance on stage with other people in the movie. What the hell was that about? What kind of choices were they making? Anyway,
terrible choices.
Terrible choices. Okay, so I loved the fact that the landscape of hell of Hades is very different because they come up into Hades through a trap door.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And you know they weren't doing that through the ceiling. So like they didn't show you that they went through a door and then was coming out of a trap door. And then all of Hades was like the further they were going, they had to go up.
Yeah.
But like obviously hell is below everything. So like the further they go up, the further they're going down. It was such a trip because like they're basically walking along the ceiling of everything, but from their perspective, they're on the ground. It's just really cool.
So pretty much like Hades, his whole castle is mirrored after the Olympians' castle. So it's like upside down. It's from theirs. Like he modeled it after that because they banished him. So yeah. So that's why like when in the next episode we'll see how it looks in Olympus, and then you'll be like, oh, okay, I see how he did that. So
yeah. Because even from the movies, it kind of looks a little bit like that. Like if you take a step back,
it's whack in the movies. I hate it.
Yeah, it does take that. It's like a similar shape, if like stretched out a bit. I don't even get me started on the movies, right? Because one, the second they get to that building, right, and they're like, where's Olympus? And then who the hell is Sally to go? It's over there. Who are you? Who are you to know where Olympus is? Like at all, right? And then they get in the door, they get in the lift, right? And then Sally's the one that starts working the buttons. Are you shitting me?
Yeah, that was a weird choice.
Yeah,
but she doesn't go with them to there. So that was all stupid. I didn't like that.
So stupid. It's just like, oh well, this woman's been a wonderful actress, and I've enjoyed talking to her on set. So let's give her a bit more to do, shall we? You know what I mean? Like, anyway.
And the show has actually given her more, but they did it in a great way. So it's like,
yes. I that's a wonderful point, right? Because in the movie, the only time that Sally even speaks up to Gabe in any way is the second he lays hands on Percy, and then Grover attacks him, and then like she's there like hitting him in the back. Like there's no point where it feels like she's in control, right? Because Gabe is a shouty little bitch in the apartment, but there's no point where I think, well, this apartment's ruled by fear. A petulant little child. Sally is strong. Sally knows what she's doing to stay there. There's no fear there, you know?
There's one thing I don't understand, because I read this, spoiler alert, but from what I read, Sally was only gone for 10 days in total? Is that the name of Percy's mum?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But in the books, doesn't Gabe get the life insurance claim in that time already, and then has to pay it back when she's proven to be alive at the end?
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff with Gabe that's just.
So, but I was just wondering who the hell pays out life insurance within 10 days anyway? Where's the realistic part of that?
I don't know. Oh, as well, right? Before we get into it, like again, I love the franchise so far. Okay. The only nitpick I have really to kind of hang in there is how the original myths exist and have happened, but then a bunch of the monsters from those myths, some of which are from Percy's namesake, are back in it, right? Because Medusa is supposed to be dead. Her head was already used as a weapon. So at the end of the first movie, her head comes alive by itself. So unless there's like some whole like reattachment thing, or she's out here like Deadpool, I don't know. But it makes no sense.
That flashback with Sally in episode 1, that was new. So they might have wrote themselves into a hole with that one, but there's not much to Medusa outside of her in the first book. That's pretty much it. They actually gave her more in the show than they gave her in the books.
Okay, because I got it was Uma Thurman in the movies, and talented actress, right? Wonderful person.
They wasted her so bad.
It was so bad, right? At least Medusa's house made sense in the show. It was a lived-in house that was an emporium that had a bunch of statues, a little bit overgrown, tiny bit unkempt, but she lived there, right? Uma Thurman's just looked like a murder dungeon. That was it. Like she just kept rocking up to turn people in statues and then back off to like buy some more Dolce & Gabbana and stuff. It was weird.
Yeah.
And then the fact that she's wearing high fashion items, but then is confused by an iPhone. Get the fuck out of here. What's happening?
Yeah, that was stupid. That was just.
Yeah. Anyway, not to get too stuck on the movies, right? But then we don't get to see the river Styx, right? Because that confused me a little bit because we only saw Chiron walking the souls, I presume, from the docks, right? Because we saw Cerberus and Annabeth a little bit later throwing it, and then we hear the splash, and then he's chasing the ball. So there is water. I assume they went for like a whole salt flats thing, but there is actually water there. So it means that they made it in. Do you know what I mean? But they also skipped like a whole chunk because they didn't have to cross the river of Styx at any point. Or if they did in the books, we just didn't see it.
No, they do. I think they changed that stuff up though, unless they do it in the finale when he returns the helm.
Okay, yeah, because obviously in the movie they pay the ferryman 5, but it should have been 6 coins at minimum, right? And then in the show they offer him the money, sounded like a lot more, and then he just summoned Cerberus. He was like, I'm not even here for change. I've been fooled by this one too many times. And then whoop. I gotta say, like I said before, my favorite interpretation iteration of Cerberus that I've ever seen, because he genuinely acted just like a big dog. It was really, really cool. It was a lot of fun. It was so cute. Super cute.
Imagine a 3-headed Rottweiler running around like that. They're all looking like, where is it? And then one of the heads spots it and barks, and then like the middle head takes control and like, right, this way then.
Yeah,
exactly.
It was great.
The one thing I'm mad they changed though is how Annabeth calmed the dog. Like in the books, she actually like trains Cerberus and like kind of becomes friends with her.
Ooh.
Yeah, and they changed that. So I'm kind of upset that they did that, because I was like, oh man, that it would have been, because the ball is what she uses to train him.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
Yeah, so when she got it in the episode, I was like, oh man, I can't wait for this. But then they didn't do it, and I was like, oh well, it was still cool, but I wanted to see that.
Okay, then. So if, for example, that comes up later, are you going to feel even more cheated that was what sold it, the scratches?
If they do it, I'd be fine. I'd be like, okay, they came back to it. They laid the seeds of her like scratching them and putting them to sleep, and then okay, cool. But if they, they don't do it, that's gonna be one of my nitpicks of the season.
Okay.
I'm similar to the beginning of the episode, like when they go into the store. In the book, Grover and Annabeth actually end up getting stuck in the beds, and Percy actually has to get them out. Yeah, so they changed that up too. That one I'm not as mad at, because I was like, her sneaking with the hat and stuff.
Yeah,
but it is getting a little. I do agree. I've seen some reviewers talk about this, like taking away from Percy being like showing his intelligence and stuff, like him figuring out things and stuff like that. I do think that's a little bit of a problem. They only did it a couple times, so I'm not mad, because he's been figuring out a lot of stuff too. But that moment specifically, I was like, oh man, I wish they would have kept that with Percy. But
yeah, I do understand like how they had to kind of push for pacing, and I think it would have changed the tone of the episode just slightly.
Because the chapters aren't long. Like people was complaining about last episode, the casino episode, but I'm like, that chapter is only 13 pages, and they were only in the casino for 5 pages. The rest of the book, like the rest of the chapter, they weren't in the casino.
Okay,
like
that is crazy.
It's really weird.
Because they are really changing. Like they are really focusing on different things. Because like, so basically, like next week when it's finished, I've already sat and wrote down 7 pages for the first movie, and then like 4 pages for the second movie, and then I'm gonna be doing a comparison of what is different. For example, they're using some of the stuff from the second movie with that of the Oracle and sending on the quest, but it's a different quest, Right. So there is like some changes, and I want to see how much involvement the writer and creator had in the movies versus the show.
He had none. Yeah, they didn't. He wanted to be involved with the movies. They said no, and so that's why he's so against the movies.
Oh, see, because, that I feel like that shows, because there is a massive change, and considering, like, especially if Liam is right and it's only Ares that it has a confrontation next week, then they've drastically gone in a different way with the movies, and they went for like a whole Hollywood thing, like because the director was Christopher Columbus, right? And this was the movie was made around the same time that everything was a reaction to Harry Potter. So there was a bunch of teen book franchises that brought up and like quickly made into movies, and like let's see what sticks.
Right.
And the fact that they screwed him like that, like
yeah, this could have been another Harry Potter type of franchise, but they butchered it.
They really did.
So they really did butcher it with the movies, yeah.
Yeah.
But there's some stuff in the second movie that I did enjoy, like finding out that his sword apparently was his father's. I don't think that was mentioned in the show yet. It was just given to him by Mr. Bruner, I think his name is Chiron.
Chiron, yeah.
Oh my god, the portrayal of Mr. D in the second movie. Oh my gosh, what an asshole!
I mean, that's one thing they did in right in the movies. Like he is an ass, like in the books too. So
okay, that is interesting. Like, imagine being cursed to not be able to do the one thing that you're there to do. Like that's your whole job that you're the god of. You know what I mean? And then you're like, nope, only for everybody else. You're not allowed to have none of it.
Well, he can't get it himself. That's why he was asking Percy to get it for him.
Yeah,
because he can't actually go and get like
wine
and stuff like that.
Like, he can pour any alcoholic beverage for himself, but if somebody else pours it for him, then he can drink it.
Yeah, see, that's only demigods as well. Otherwise, he could just go to a bar.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god. Okay, something I've been dying to ask. Right, so in the books, is there like in the second movie there was like a whole thing? The second that Annabeth put her card into the ATM, there was a whole advert by the cupbearer of Zeus for an Aphrodite Express kind of thing, and there was like a whole ATM where you could take out drachmas just because they read your card right. You know what I mean? It was a whole weird thing. Is there a whole like establishment of like finance and like infrastructure for half gods?
That's just for the gods in general, for like when they come down to like Earth and stuff. I don't remember if they like say exactly how they do currency.
Okay.
But like I said, I have to reread the books because it's been a while.
Yeah. I honestly, I am so close to just like picking them things up just because of how much I'm enjoying everything. And based on the second movie, which I was kind of 50-50 on, but based on the second movie, I'm 100% now expecting a post-credit scene from this last episode to set up season 2. I definitely think a season 2 is coming. And
I think they have a whole thing. I think because the trio, where were they at? I think they were in Disney or something, but they was being filmed for something. So I wouldn't be surprised if they do like season 2 renewal video that comes out like the day of the finale or something, but it comes out like early in the day or even Monday.
I'll take it.
If they do that, I'll be happy. So
yeah, they have to. It's going to be really interesting. They have to go talk to One Piece's guy about how to film around boats and stuff, you know. But other than that, I think they're going to be really, really well. Because
Disney better renew them, because if they lose out and he go to like, because he could take his books, they're his. Like if he take it to like Amazon or something, and they give him the money to do it, Disney gonna look stupid.
They would do really well with it, to be fair, and especially with him, because Amazon do really good shows when they want to. So interestingly enough, Chiron summons Cerberus despite offering payment. I was about to say something 2 minutes ago, but I've forgotten. Annabeth gives him scratches, allowing him to be climbed. They climb the wall, which again is interesting because it's upside down. Hades' place is really, really interesting to look at, and I do hope they go back, like you said, with the helm. So I really want more of that time there. And I was saying to Liam that he seems to be a lot like what if Hella, in that he understands the responsibility of his job and why he's there, and that it's not so much of a curse as like he is a function. You know what I mean? In the movie,
Hades.
yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, like he's actually like not a bad person at all in the books. Like he's not like evil or anything. He's actually super chill in the books, and that's one thing I'm pissed that the movie did. Like you just made him like bad shit evil, and I was like he like in the books he wanted nothing to do with the bolt. Like he didn't care.
Yeah.
Like, I mean he cared, but he didn't want anything to do with the family drama stuff. He was just like, I'm doing my thing.
And that's what I love because, like I said, he seems at peace with his lot, which I think just shows like a massive, like what a massive person he is, because that has to be taxing on any psyche to be where he is, right?
Right.
And then to still be that way, and then like especially with his brothers, like how he says they are and how we both like how we all know them to be. He's still like, yeah, no, I'm cool. You crack on, lads. You crack on. I'm cool. That's so big. That's so big, and I love that.
Sorry, change subject quickly. Episode 5 of Invincible season 2 drops on March 14th.
Nice.
Why'd they do that? That was so dumb.
It's really late, isn't it?
Like
stupid.
When was episode 4? That came out when? Like the first week of December?
Yeah, I think so.
Like what? Oh my god, 3 months? Unless they're like working on season 3 or something, I'll give them a pass if that's the case. But if they're just sitting there, then I'm like, what's the purpose?
Yeah, because it is going to bite them in the ass, and I think they are going to lose some of the fan base, as good as it is. But I think it would take a lot of people longer to circle back round than it would have if they just either kept it going or made it just after the holidays and then keep it going.
Right.
Because they could have fit in like a whole other show in the time that they haven't been doing that half of a show.
Right.
Well, yeah, could have at least done a special or something.
Right.
Just stupid, yeah.
Because I forgot all about the show until they did the preview thing, and I was like, oh yeah, that is coming back out. So I was just like, oh man. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people probably feel that way too. Like they probably forgot, especially if they're not on Twitter and stuff as heavy. Yeah. They probably don't even know.
Forgot that much. I have to go back and watch the first 4 episodes of this season.
I play that Invincible phone game every day, so I've got a constant reminder of it not being on. So that's awesome. I love, right? So in the movie, they give a shocking portrayal of Hades. It looked more like an attempt at a rock album cover with inspirations from Sauron from Lord of the Rings with wings. Yeah. It was weird, not needed, and from what Taj says, completely out of character for the book. So in this one, we get a very, very chill, cool Hades, but no Persephone and no Grover flirting, which I was completely fine with, because that was the whole weird thing, right? Because Persephone was sitting there playing both sides, but also her own side, but like because she had control of like the underworld while she was there. She was a victim. She was held like in a position which she didn't want to be in. He didn't want to be there either, but she had what appeared to be as much control as he had. So how much of a like you're as much of a prisoner as Hades at this point, you know?
Right.
So yeah, so I'm glad that they kept that out of it, because it would have completely changed the dynamic of how this episode and the characters interacted. So
I wouldn't have mind a tease, because we do get future family members from from his lineage in like book 3.
Okay.
Yeah, book 3. There was an Easter egg actually in the casino episode.
Really? What was it?
So in the background, when they're like the kids was doing the VR thing, it's really like you would really have to sit there and listen. But it's a kid running in the back calling for a girl named Bianca, and she's in the third book. So the character that was calling for her, his name is Nico, and I mean, unless you want me to say like who he's related to, he's Hades' son.
Okay.
So we get more of that stuff. Book 3 onward.
So by
he's actually a really big character going forward.
So by book 3, there's going to be a child alive from each of the big 3.
Yeah. Nico has a sad story, and he's actually one of my favorite characters from the entire series.
Really? Okay, I'm dying to meet him then.
His story is really good. It's sad, but it's good though. I love it.
So basically, after rewatching the movie, I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch the whole series as a thing, because when they spoke of Dahlia's tree or however they say it in the show, did they explain that her tree is what keeps the protection and the boundary?
I think. Wait, they might have. I don't know. I think they did. I think Luke might have mentioned it. Okay. I can't remember if that's a thing in the books though, because I know you can't enter the camp unless you're a demigod or just like a god in general.
Yeah,
but certain things are like forbidden from getting in. So like monsters and stuff like that. So I think it might be her tree. I can't remember.
Because like my question as well is like, what happened before her tree? Because the camp was supposed to be there to keep everybody safe, but the second they get there, it turns into like some weird Hunger Games situation where everybody's fighting for survival against monsters that might turn up constantly.
Right.
So I'm not sure. But really, really cool. Really, really cool.
I'm actually thinking, like, I'm blanking on if they even mention what the camp was like beforehand. Like, I don't think they do.
And I've got, like, obviously, where, what's her name? Is it Talio? Or Zeus's daughter comes back alive. Does the force field then stay up from the tree still being put there, or what? Is the force field down now that she's, like, back to being human?
It's a lot with that, so I'm not going to spoil it. It's a lot that goes into her character in general. That's why I didn't give a lot about Nico. Her character is a lot about her character too.
Yeah, because
so I'm not going to say anything going forward. It's spoiler heavy.
I'm gonna have to rewatch again because at the end of the second movie, I need to rewatch the Oracle scene for both of them to see how it's worded and what the difference is. Because in the movie, they were saying that the Oracle from Delphi, which is actually a city in ancient times, whether it's still there, I don't know, is referring to when he's 20 years old, right? But this one, which I have rewatched before today, was definitely nothing about that. It was literally only pertaining to the lightning bolt and the mother. There was no room for misinterpretation there. Which
that prophecy doesn't come into place until book 2 onward.
So there's
what the Oracle gave him with like the whole bolt and everything, it wasn't necessarily it was a prophecy, but it's not the prophecy.
Yeah, because obviously his prophecy refers to like Kronos sent afterwards.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's what.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's almost like a little gift to warm him up for the big one.
But that's why I can't say anything about the prophecy, because that prophecy is linked to like any of the big three's kids. So I can't really like say much. That's why I didn't say anything about Thalia or Talia, however you want to pronounce the name.
I know they do it. It's annoying. They do it differently in each project.
In the book, it looked like it's pronounced Talia, but in the show, they're actually. And I'm going based off the show strictly because the writer of the books is writing on the show, so I'm going based off of that.
Okay. Yeah.
So
okay. Very interestingly, Sally is stood there, right, and Hades has her covered. I think that's an interesting fact. So that shows some level of discerning for the person, like for Sally, right, and some like showing some discretion and possibly some remorse for the situation that he might feel that he's forced into, because this is a strong hand that he might not have wanted to play, because as we've said, like he wants to stay out of everything. And the only reason that he's doing this is because he himself was stolen from. But the fact that she stood there in the same kind of gold that Percy himself was frozen in, like not a few episodes ago, and I can only imagine that it came over her in the same like Hephaestus made way,
probably,
which is like a real cool little thing for me to kind of have that little connection there.
That's something they added to the show too.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And I guess they did it as a parallel because it happened to Percy in episode 5, so they did it for Sally, which I'm okay with. I think that was actually a really good change.
So before we even get to, we've just jumped all over the thing, right? So they have a quick look at Hades' place, and then we cut back to Percy and Sally talking about school, and him going into the academy. I forget the name of it. Wrote it down, but I can't find it. And like this little kid, man, Percy is great now, but when he's a little kid, he just keeps coming in with these like emotional, like 1-2, 1-2, right in the gut. That he just knows it's gonna be stinging his mum, and it's just like, ow, man, you dick, you know what you're saying is gonna sting. Like, God.
Well, I think he's saying it because he's just like it. Like as a kid, I said this in my reaction. I was like, as a kid, I would feel the same way. Like, why are you trying to like get rid
of it?
Yeah. But also when he was like, I wouldn't do that to you, and she like started breaking down, which leads into the whole Poseidon thing, which we'll get to. But like you can see that like she wants to tell him, but she can't.
Yeah.
Because she wants him to be his own person.
And again, the movie actress, wonderful actress, right? But this actress, I don't know her name.
I forgot. Somebody kept telling me in my comments, and I keep forgetting.
Virginia Cole.
Yeah,
she is just doing bits. She is just bringing so much emotion and depth to the role that in the movies, the other actress just didn't get time for. Like she just got small, mediocre things where they kept making Percy like the hero, right? So in the movies, his mother didn't even prepare him for anything with the mythology about who to be, what kind of person to be, or nothing. She just dumped him in the school, kept him around the game, and then just kind of just left him alone like a weed. This Sally teaches him the mythology, like to the point where like he even leaves with a catchphrase. You know what I mean? Like it's rooted in who he is, and like helped, and she made him the person that he is. That's very much shown in this episode.
Right. And that's actually like the stuff that's really been like a lot of my favorite parts of the show have been from Sally, because most of the stuff in the show we don't get in the books. So like they're adding to her character, and I'm just
thrilled.
Like, and I think it's good because the creator of the books actually said like he's going to be fixing things that he made mistakes on in the books.
That's great
and stuff. So I'm guessing Sally was a mistake. Like he wanted to do more with her, and especially her and Poseidon's relationship. Like
real good. Wow.
So good.
Wow, that bar scene. Oh my God. We'll get to that shortly. So then when we get back to our team, the team discuss who's going to be left behind because Grover lost his pearl in Cerberus's mouth when he was swallowed up, and Annabeth saved him with the scratches. He really kind of like lays it on and makes like presses earnestly in this discussion, and I feel obviously it's guilt driven, and he's young. But he's 24, but he's still young and impressionable, and you could just feel like how much it was to him because he kept going. They were like, "Dude, calm down, it's fine. We'll talk about it later." And he's like, "No, no, 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 no. We have to fix this now." You know, and then almost jinxing it, right?
Right.
They get to Asphodel where you get stuck if you have regret, if you have wishes in your life that you didn't fulfill, like broken promises, dreams, things like that. At which point, Annabeth gets rooted to the ground with Cerberus stomping around in the background. And she starts being rooted because of regrets. And one can only assume that it's to do with Thalia, right?
That's a change that the show made.
Oh,
yeah. So, like the pearl thing, like in the books, he doesn't get 4 pearls; he has 3.
Okay.
They have, yeah, like they have 3 the whole time. But the whole forest thing, like Annabeth is with them the whole time when they're in the underworld. So that was a change they made and kind of like split up the team and stuff. So I was a little confused by that too. I was like, what are they doing? But
it makes you wonder what she's regretting though.
I think, yeah,
like I'm actually like really curious to see what they do with that. It might be Talia. But at the same time, she was like really young. So like how can that like
because again, like we'll get to the movie one, but she said, I grew up on the camp, only leaving a few times, right? But like from what I understand on the show, she hasn't left to be on a quest like since she got there, and she's chomping at the bit. That's the whole reason she's been watching Percy and everybody else since she arrived.
Right. Like she never leaves the thing. Like episode 5, she alluded to it, like when Percy was talking about movies, like they don't have movies and stuff like that. So it makes sense. Like she would be like, I don't know what that is.
Exactly.
So like, yeah, so I hated what the movie did. The movie combined her character with like a few other characters, which I didn't like.
No.
Especially in the first movie.
Since you brought up the movies again, right? So there's a bit that I absolutely detest in the movie, right? And it's at the climax, and like Percy pulls out his sword and whatever, right? And then Luke like knocks him down and stuff, and then Annabeth comes in and pulls off some serious moves and kicks his ass, right? And then just proceeds to stand back, like. The one kicking ass more than anybody else is like, right, I'll let you crack on now. I've done the hard part. You get in there. Go on. I've loosened the jar for you. Finish it off. What is that about? Like, why would you do that? I understand that he's the hero of the story, but come on. It's shocking.
It's kind of what he does like at the end of the second movie though. He's the one that finishes the quest and then hands the blanket or the fleece over to what's the name?
But at least he finished the fight first. Like he didn't get the way through the fight and go, right, your turn. Tag you in, like come on.
Yeah, it's actually more complicated than that though, because her and Luke grew up together. So I hate how they had that fight just be so easy for her. I was like, what? It would be some confliction. Like they grew up together. Like what are we doing?
Whole like defining personality moment happened there, because as we see in the second movie, Annabeth is massively against Cyclops as a whole, because one or two of them killed Thalia in the first place, and then so when Percy's brother turns up, she's completely against him until Tyson just proves what a G he is, and just like the best guy on the team, and just like a true hero. Just the guy took a bullet, an arrow, and then fell off a cliff, and then the second he starts healing, he's like, right, I better start getting up there,
Yeah, I think it was an arrow or something. He got shot with something that fell.
Yeah, honestly, and the second the water starts hitting him, he's healing. He didn't even finish healing until he got up there and saved Percy, and then showed him the wound that was healing. So that guy was making moves with a deadly wound. It was crazy. Good for you, Tyson. I gotta say he won me over because I wasn't a fan when he first rocked up.
It's interesting to see how they pull that off.
It is. It is.
Like having a Cyclops. Grover enough. Like the actor wears them little like pad things that got the CGI, but that's just like legs and is from like the knee down mostly.
Yeah.
But like, how do you just have? I hope they make it prosthetic and not do CGI. But I guess we'll see.
Yeah, I think prosthetic would look better.
Yeah,
I do like the way Chiron moves around, right? Because like when he left, like he was showing Percy around, and then he took him to the house of Hermes, right? And instead of just like backing up, like he did like a full circle to leave because of his big horse's butt. It was great. He genuinely moves like a horse might, and it's great. They really pay attention. Okay, so we have the shoes getting sucked into Tartarus on the way after Annabeth uses the pearl, right? Speaking of the pearl, another goddamn side quest. Here we go. In the movie, the pearls are the points in the quest of where they have to go, right? The pearl is at Medusa's place. The pearl is at Athena's what do you call it? Like monument, basically. It's the arch in the show. It's the Pantheon or whatever it is in the movie. So there's multiple dedications to the goddess. It's cool. And then the third one is the Lotus Hotel. In the show, they were given to him by that jellyfish mermaid that some people say have the face of his mother. And then she says, "What returns to the sea can always be what comes from the sea can always return to the sea." And then in the movie, they can take him anywhere, which is how they get straight to Olympus. It's crazy. So yeah. So then we get to Annabeth going away, and then the shoes being sucked into Tartarus, which is kind of a setup for Percy to kind of understand what's happening later on. And then they find the bolt, right? In the bag that they got from Ares. My question is, how the hell have they not opened that bag in that amount of time?
Because the bolt wasn't in there.
It wasn't in there.
No, the bolt actually doesn't appear in his bag until that happens.
Wow. Okay.
It's weird. So it's weird, but like you'll see what happens in the finale.
Okay, right. I would take your advice and I would hold fire, right?
But hopefully they explain it and not like brush over it.
Okay, yeah.
Be mad.
In my head, the only way that can happen is if Hermes is involved.
I can confirm and say no.
Okay, then somebody has to be there with the Helm of Darkness, slipping it in their bag.
I can't really give it away.
Oh,
yeah, I'm sorry, but I do think they changed it because it still pretty much happened the same. Like him bringing out Riptide to stop them from going into Tartarus.
That's a sick name for a sword. I didn't know that was the name for the sword. That is awesome.
Oh yeah, Riptide. Yeah. But the book bag weighs him down, but in the books he doesn't open it until later.
So he doesn't even open it to when he's before Hades. Before he speaks to him.
No.
So in the books, that whole conversation happens without that tip being involved.
I believe, like after that event, they just go straight to Hades Castle.
Okay,
but they did it different in the show because Annabeth is supposed to be with them, so they like changed it up.
Does he offer them sanctuary in the books?
I can't remember. I just remember him being really nice.
Because like that's interesting thing. Because obviously, in the books, if if the bolt wasn't involved in the conversation and he's just nice anyway, then like they pulled it back a little bit for the show and then like made him not as nice and then added that element in, which is really interesting as well. Just adds another layer for him.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've literally written down, how has he not looked in the bag a single time? So then they have a wonderful moment where they acknowledge that it is the bolt. They're like, oh, is it the bolt? Is it not the bolt? And it's like, yes, it is the bolt. And then they say, Grover says, Zeus is expecting this to be returned. And then they have a little moment, and then he's like, you know what? Zeus is going to have to wait. Let's go get your mother. And I think that was wonderful. Really cemented them as partners because this whole time we've been still worrying about the prophecy that still is yet to be fulfilled. Because it's still very, very much we very much still have to be worrying about his mother in the finale. Sorry.
I love the fact Grover was like, let's go get your mother, and then they leave her there anyway.
Oh, that we will be getting to this. Don't you worry. That is my opinion also. I genuinely have the same idea. But we'll be getting to Hazbin Hotel. Don't you worry about that. Yeah, so like the what's important definitely applies to Percy's mum over the bolt, as has been shown by the team, which I think has cemented them together. And it's really nice because they've had unifying moments separately. Right. So they had Annabeth and excuse me. They had Grover and Annabeth bonding 7 years ago, if not before, right? With Dahlia and meeting and traveling there, and him being her satyr and protector. And then we have Annabeth and Percy bonding a little bit during their time at the camp, but mainly through being tested by Hephaestus. And now we have, yes, like Grover and Percy were best friends, but it's more like the veil's been lifted, the pretense has been dropped, the lies have gone. Grover is himself at like now, and it's a full proper friendship, which I absolutely love. Right. And this is what has cemented it, right? So like Percy is going to be steadfast in his belief that neither one of them are going to betray them. So that definitely has to be coming from an outside factor. Okay, so yeah, so Grover says has to wait, and then Percy and Sally.
The bolt bottom is really badass. Like I want a prop of that. Like I want one. It looks so cool.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Don't you worry.
Sorry.
I'm gonna start these so I know how to come back to later. So yeah, so Percy and Sally are eating lunch, having sundaes, which is lovely, and yeah, the guy's just packing emotional punches, and it's just crazy. And then Poseidon rocks up. A little bit later, we get to that. After we have the talk with Hades, and we've already talked about how great he is. To clarify the issue, Hades wants his helm, not the bolt. He understands his position and what if it's like. Hello, Percy. So Percy deduces during the conversation that it's Kronos that has been talking to him in the dream. I was very, very curious about this because I thought it was Charon, the ferryman, because of the shroud.
Oh, okay.
Being, like, that was just the whole vibe he was giving. But then we meet that man, and that is definitely not that man. We meet Hades, who Percy thought it was, and it's definitely not him either. So then he's like, right, it's Kronos. It's interesting though, because both the movie and the show have portrayed him in a way Well, the movies like had him like spiraling around as pieces. It was a weird thing where he was the casket, but he's supposed to be scattered in a million pieces all throughout hell's hell.
Yeah.
Like, I understand he's had eons upon eons to like kind of pull himself together, but you know,
well, he can't because they got him in it's like a box thing. That stuff will get explained in the next season.
Okay.
But
looking forward to that.
the way that they portrayed him is actually close to the books because he do communicate to Percy through his dreams and stuff. So I'm happy that they did that.
Okay.
Versus the movie where they didn't touch on it at all.
Liam pointed out a good point from the movies in that from the second one is that the Percy's prophecy is from his time, Cronus' time, for him to even be aware of it.
Yeah, because it was told years before.
Yeah, like for Cronus to be aware of it, like unless he's had somebody on the edge of Tartarus going like,
right,
then he has to be aware of this like pre-Olympia.
We'll get more on that.
Okay. Oh my God! I really want to pick up these books. Okay.
See, that's the great thing about the show being good, because if it continues to be good, it leads to all of the seasons, and they can do the 5 books. So you get to see like where everything goes. Because it's very similar to Harry Potter, like how they start off 12, and then like each book, the stakes start to get higher and stuff like that. By the 3rd book, you're like, okay, yeah, this is crazy.
Okay.
Just the second book. The second book has higher stakes actually than the first book, but yeah.
It's like each year.
Yeah.
Okay. One thing I did not like the movies that they did, that may be closer to the books, I don't know, but Grover didn't have his horns in the first book because he wasn't.
That was stupid.
Didn't have his license.
That was not even a thing in the books. That was so dumb. I was like, what is this? What? He's a satyr. They have the horns the whole time. Like, what do you mean he has to earn them? Like, that was whack.
Again, it just shows what can happen to like an incredibly good project when the creator has no input, no design on something, and he just takes it and puts their own spin on it. Just so many misfires, honestly, in that movie.
Showed with Game of Thrones with the last 2 seasons as well.
Yeah. Can we get
your pain with that one, Taj?
I didn't hate season 7. I didn't think it was like the best, but I didn't hate it. I was like, okay.
Just felt rushed.
I was about to say, like, they needed a few more episodes. Season 8, I think the first couple of episodes were solid, but then we get the long night and they rushed everything, and I was just like, dude, what are we? This sucks.
Yeah.
All because D&D wanted to rush it so they could do Star Wars. But guess what? Y'all half-assed Game of Thrones, and Disney was like, no. So now y'all don't get nothing. Y'all rushed it for nothing. Because HBO wanted Game of Thrones to go like 10 seasons or something like that.
It really should have.
Yeah. But it was going to be hard after like season 4 anyway, because they ran out of source material. So it was kind of like they had to make up stuff.
But they could have filled a lot. They could have filled. They could have dragged it out by putting more in from the books. So
yeah, they could have. I forgot what season it was, but they combined like 2 books into one season. I can't remember which one it was. I think it was
probably season 1.
No, season 1 is the whole first book for the most part. But it's a lot of characters they left out of Game of Thrones to show anyway. Like Griff.
Yeah.
Like his character, especially because it's rumored that he might be Jon Snow's brother that Rhaegar had with his first wife. But
yeah,
like it'll be interesting to see what George R. R. Martin do with the what is it, the Winds of Winter, whatever that book is, to like finish those storylines. Like I wonder how his end versus how the show ends.
It'll be interesting to see.
Because if
and
it's
will we
amazing,
ever will we ever get to see it? Sorry.
Oh no, we're not going to see it. Unfortunately, I would love it, but I think that's going to piss people off more. Like if the books come out and the rest of the story is like really good, and they give everyone proper like storylines and endings, and then everyone reads it, and then they look back at like season 8 and they're just like, really?
So if we don't get a surprise season or like a one-off special in like in 2026, then they missed the opportunity there from the like last episode when they say, "Do you think we've done the right thing?" And they I think it's Tyrion or Bran that says, "Ask me that question in 10 years."
I think that'll be a spinoff. I think the Jon Snow show still is supposed to happen.
Yeah,
I think. Which I'm actually interested in that. I'd watch it.
I would watch that as well.
Right, especially like him finding out that he's a Targaryen. Like, what does he do with that now? Like, he's the last one technically. Like, what does he do with that now? Is he going to have kids? Drogon is still flying around. Right, Drogon's still flying around. Like,
yeah. You know, did Drogon take Daenerys off to a Red Priestess to get resurrected?
I'd be all for that. I'm not gonna lie. I think Emilia Clarke, if the script is good, I think she would come back for it and be like, okay, because there is magic in Game of Thrones. The show just didn't do much with it, which I think kind of sucks. I'm just like, damn.
Have you read the books?
The main Game of Thrones books? Yeah.
Okay, because something that really bugged me about the show, for the most part, is the main zombie dude.
Oh, the Night King.
Yeah, right. The only backstory we got is that the people that were protecting nature decided to punish this guy by strapping him, shoving in a magical stone that turned him into a zombie that was then a threat to all of creation, of which they're protecting. It was like a weird paradox that made no sense.
That was solely created for the show.
It's the way that they put dragon glass into his heart to turn him into the White Walker, and then they got to stab him in the heart with dragon glass in order to kill him.
Like, wouldn't that have made
surely
him
his heart would just absorb that, and he'll become more powerful.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like, wouldn't that have made him stronger? that whole thing was just stupid. Like, they ran out of book material and didn't know what to do. So at that point, anything after season 4, just it's new stuff. So I can't answer any of that stuff that happened later on because there is no book for it, unfortunately.
Okay, so to finish off the episode, after that wonderful detour, we have the amazing scene, which was definitely added for the show, I think, between Poseidon and Sally. Both actors gave it tremendous effort and gravitas, and I think that they did a great job. Because for the most part, like, we're gonna hate Poseidon, right? I think he spoke to him in his head, I think, or is that in the movies? Like the community.
That's a movie. That's a movie thing,
right? And in the movie as well, like he was there watching him and then like disappearing, like he's in the Matrix. It was weird.
Like he watches him, but the way they showed it in the movies was weird. Like it looked stalkerish versus like how it's told in the movies. Like in the show, he's like staying afar. He has other people keep an eye on him, check on him every now and again.
Okay, because I did wonder, because like the people of the enemies are doing that as well, because obviously Mrs. Dodson and other things. So yeah, he's not allowed to talk to Percy, but the offer is there. he somehow gets summoned by striking a match and then chucking it into a chocolate sundae.
I think it's the offering, like how Percy had to burn the blue candy when he was doing the little offering thing.
Yeah,
dude, you have just blown my goddamn mind, right?
So I think the ice cream thing was maybe something they had. Because, like I said, the stuff with Sally is new. It's not in the books,
right? Because obviously this meal would have meant a lot to her because of what it means before sending Percy away. Dude, you just added like a whole layer for that for me.
That whole scene was great. Like when she dropped it in, and the rain just started coming down.
Yeah,
and then it get dark, but like rainy dark, and then he like walked through the door. He felt like a god. I was like, this is how you do Poseidon.
Yeah, came in with a whole presence. Yeah, not just like splashing onto a dock and giving a fisherman weird looks.
Right. So actually, fun fact: the actor that plays Poseidon actually does the voice for Kronos.
Really?
That's cool.
Yeah, a few people in my comments told me that, and I was like, really? I was like, that is cool. So he's gonna be on the show for a while.
Yeah.
Look. Well, at least on IMDb, right? On IMDb, Poseidon is played by Toby Stevens, and then the voice in the dream is played by Nick Borain.
Let me find out. My comment section lying to me. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Maybe they got the name off or something. I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah.
Either way, he was great as Poseidon. I don't even care who he played.
The actress who played Sally was fantastic in that scene as well. Like you could, as a parent, you could feel her pain and her struggle of trying to protect her child and do what was right by him.
Yeah,
it was absolutely fantastic. She portrayed that really well.
Yeah, and you could tell the relationship was more serious because they couldn't even look at each other. Like it was like side glances, but they wasn't like fully looking at each other. Like that's how intense it was between them. Whereas a departure from the book, because we don't get that in the book. Like we don't really get much with their relationship or how it was. So the show was doing a really good job portraying that. I love it.
In my mind, it portrayed like a physical representation of how talking to a god through prayer would go, because you're not looking at each other. Like it's a conversation between two people that could be in a separate space or the same space. Do you know what I mean? I really like that.
A good way that's actually a good way of looking at it. Yeah, that whole conversation was just the writing for that scene, the acting, the atmosphere. It was just.
And then we get to what he says at the end. He says, one day when he's ready, when he knows who he is, which is what Sally wants, where he belongs, and what fate is revealed to him to be his true path, which is the Kronos bit, that day I'll be right by his side, right? Which
hints to next episode.
Right?
That's all I'll say. It'll hint to next episode.
Which is where we get to the cutoff of the finale and me shouting at the TV screen, what are you doing? Why are you ending this here? Right? Again, like every goddamn week. And then what happens is Ares rocks up holding a sword on his shoulder, and then he says, I will be right by his side, as they're stood next to a shore. So in my mind, Ares is going to be threatening Percy, and then Percy is going to...
no, that's not a threat. They fight.
Oh, they fully fight, right? Okay.
Yeah, they fully fight.
So they fully fight, and then Percy will have fulfilled the small prophecy that his father laid out in that conversation, and I'm expecting that man to be rocking up on the shore.
Man,
in a tremendous way, just because he's got the whole ocean with him to work with. So
Ares just looks so badass, and that sword looks so good. I was just like, what is that?
A really, 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 really cool looking sword, and the flimsiest, thinnest bronze made shield.
Right. That shield was flimsy, but
so flimsy. Like you gotta think, like if they are the gods and they're like outside,
maybe they worn down from him using it for centuries. So I don't know.
I just would expect him to have Kevlar or something.
I mean, yeah, because Well, maybe he couldn't get it because it was in a chair. He had to sit in a chair in order to get it. So yeah, that just the great thing about them hiring Edge is that he was a wrestler, so he knows how to sell fight scenes.
Exactly. Yes.
And what is his name? Walker, who plays Percy. Like I have watched like behind the scenes of them. Like they do like the capture the flag scene. Like they were doing all their stunts, like all the fight choreography. That was them, and I was like, okay, that's cool. So I'm hoping he does everything for this fight. Because that'd be really cool.
Yeah, I do have high hopes because, like you said, he's a wrestler and one of the champions, one of the best. So, like selling a fight with a child that's the hero of a story is like one of the hardest things to do. It's like it's almost like trying to sell a fight with a human and an animal, like where it turns into a fist fight. It's like that level of difficulty, in my opinion. But I think he's going to be able to do it. So fingers crossed for next week.
Yeah,
I have massively high expectations. A part of me is wondering if like they're going to make a bold choice and make this a 2-part story, so we're not going to get a full finish.
Well, no, because in the trailer, the preview that happens at the end, you see Percy walking into Olympus and Zeus walk up. So I think they wrap it up. I think this will be the longest episode of the season. I think it'll be close to like. I hope it's close to an hour because they got to do a lot.
They have a lot to do.
They actually do have to do a lot. I was expecting last episode to be like it was like 40 minutes, but it felt like it went past quick. And they gotta, it's a lot they have to do. Yeah, this episode has no choice but to be like 50 minutes to an hour. So they have a lot to do. So, yeah, I don't know. Fingers crossed they pull it off. I mean, the show's been great, so I'm not doubting them. But if the episode is short, I'm going to be like, okay, you got to rush everything, and I don't like that.
Yeah.
I just think that there's a chance that they're going to, like, rush the spectacle, the fight, and then they're gonna just have a whole rest of the episode for emotional beats with his father, with his mother, confronting Zeus, and then a setup for next season.
Well, that stuff. The good thing about that stuff is like when he takes the boat to Zeus and all of that stuff. Those scenes don't have to be long because it's not a lot to those scenes in the book. Like it's not like some drawn out 20-page thing. So like they can probably shorten that within like 10 minutes. So depending on how they do the reveal of who stole the boat and all of that stuff, that's when we'll see how they manage the time. But it has to be at least 50 minutes. If it's like 40, I'm gonna be like, that's not enough time. So I don't know.
Okay, so before we wrap it up, any other thoughts on this week's episode, or premonitions, or prophecies for next week?
Well, they haven't done it in the show, so I'm wondering if they're going to save it for when he fights Percy. But Ares has like his eyes are like fire. So I hope they do it when he fight him, like maybe like they squad off or something, and then that's when like he tap into that God of War and it just like go crazy. So I'm hoping for that, but I just need the fight to be good. I need the fight to be good.
Do you know what I hated is in the show, like yes, Percy triumphed over a group of Clarice's minions, but in the movie, like all of the people in camp felt like adults, right?
That's because they were, unfortunately, in the movies.
Like they'll have mortgages and shit. It was weird as hell, right?
Right.
And then, so when Percy comes along and like felt like 17, so everyone else is like 25, and then like all of the sons of Ares and daughters of Ares like felt like dude bros, like big, like muscle bound fighters, and then he comes along and just red shirts everybody. It was just weird as hell. But then the show,
and then they gave Annabeth all of Clarice's stuff in the first movie. Like that was weird. I was like, what are you doing? They're on the same team in the books. Like, what are we doing? And then Ares is not even in the movie at all. Like,
no,
bad.
No. And I'm still I've got to like do like a couple of checks on stuff, but I'm pretty sure in the first movie they show the 12 Olympic gods, right? And then Hermes is there, and then they recast with Nathan Fillion in the second one.
They did do that. I don't know. Maybe that actor just saw the script and was like, "Yeah, this is gonna be bad." So I'm
It's better than the first one, though. That's the problem.
Back out of this.
Yeah, Dylan Neal, like he got out of there apparently. Oh my god, and Dionysus as well. He was in there. Oh my god. Okay, quickly before we just go on to Hazbin Hotel, right? Last thing for me on the movie. Something that really, really bugged me is like the whole time. Well, also that the forbidden children aren't forbidden; they're just rare in the movie, right? But like the whole time, Annabeth's like, I sometimes I think I hear my mom. I've never seen her though, and like you can see like the whole thing's there. And then in the movie, it's like, "Hi, Annabeth, proud of you, good job."
Yeah.
Right. And then Poseidon's like, right, and Zeus is like, right, let's wrap this up. And then Poseidon's like, please let me talk to him. And he's like, fine, just this once. Athena's already halfway out the door. Like there was nothing in her that was like, let me just quickly have a quick chat, a quick natter. Let me just grab her, Do you know what I mean? And then that just forced Annabeth to go, right, well, I'll see you outside. It was just so awkward. It was so awkward. I felt so bad for her.
Yeah, the movies butchered those like dynamics because they're way more complicated in the books, and it's just like y'all just half-ass this. They're so bad. And I like how they're actually showing the other kids of the gods, like Ares is Zeus's son, but then when they made that pact not to have any more kids, that's when we got the forbidden ones. Was technically Zeus broke that first? Because Thalia is older than Percy, I'm pretty sure. And Nico's younger than both of them. So, like, that whole thing. Yeah.
Okay, so time to discuss the much anticipated Hazbin Hotel. And I understand, Taj, you haven't seen any of that. So if at any point you feel like we're keeping you, then don't feel too bad about.
Actually, dinner is done, so I'm getting ready to leave in a few.
Okay, that is really good timing.
I literally just got the message.
Okay, so
is the show good? Because I'll check it out. Like, is
it good?
Good? So I heard it was good, but I haven't like watched it.
It's so good, honestly. Like, it's jarring for a second. Like, it takes a second to get used to it because everything's just thrown in your face, right? But but it makes sense. Don't think it's gratuitous because it's not. Because it's logical, right? Because they are in hell. Anytime that we've seen any depiction in hell, it's either fiery like writhing beings in pain, or it's like the most toned down version of what hell is actually going to be like. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it's hell. People are there for like horrible sins. I don't need to deep dive. Like, it makes sense. It makes sense why they're there.
Yeah, I would definitely check it out because I heard good things about it. I just haven't had the time to get around to it.
And hell of a boss as well. That's really good.
I haven't given that a go yet. Liam's been watching that.
What show?
Hell of a boss.
Hell of a
It's
boss.
by the same person that created Hazbin Hotel.
Oh, okay.
It's all on YouTube. That is.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna check it out because I've been hearing good things.
Yeah,
I definitely gonna get into it.
Oh my god, I can't wait for next week's episode. Honestly,
How many episodes out?
6 so far. So they're doing 2 a week. They're doing 2 a week. So next week's the last week that it's going to be airing for this season.
Okay.
So going to be a nice cool wrap up with Percy Jackson. D4, which is both, which is awesome. So if I'm not mistaken, you're going to have to correct me here. So from my understanding, the dogma and universes are very different in the from show to show. Yeah.
So. I feel myself they're still set in the same universe, but you know.
All right, I'm getting ready to head out, fellas.
All right, peace out, guys.
Eat dinner. Peace out.
See you later.
Oh yeah, yeah. If you want me to come through for the end of Percy Jackson, I'll definitely come. Oh man, I might not. Damn. Next Saturday, my birthday. So Friday, I might be going out or something. I'll let you know.
Okay. Well, happy birthday for next week.
Thank you. All right, fellas. I'll catch y'all later.
Have a good one. I'll catch you later, Taj.
All right.
Bye.
All right.
Okay. So, wow, what a few episodes that we got of Hell of a Boss this week. No, wait, excuse me, Hazbin Hotel. I don't think that I discussed it on this stream. I've been discussing it on Darren's stream. I don't think I got to it yet on here. So Hazbin Hotel, an amazing show, created by Vivian Madrano. Who? So basically, this was released on YouTube. Kind of like from what I understand.
4 years ago.
Yeah, kind of like crowd made, like kind of everybody had like a creative input, and they got a few seasons deep, and then season 1 got put up on YouTube, and then they cut it back to the pilot still being up, and everybody's being treated to it 2 episodes at a time. So episode 1 and 2, it really took me kind of time to warm up to Angel Dust. It wasn't really until episode 4 with his amazing song, both of them, that I really enjoyed. And like he showed depth and layers to his character, that it wasn't just all gratuitous and just saying like a whole bunch of stuff and acting a certain way just for the sake of it. There was a reason for it.
Yeah.
And then episode 5, we get the introduction of Lucifer, the dreamer, as he's portrayed with his wonderful top hat, which has a devil and the apple on it, which is a cool little Easter egg. And there's a weird fascination with ducks. I'm really hoping that gets explored.
Let's hope so. But, you know, let's not forget about everybody's favorite, though.
Mr. Pentious. Mr. Pentious. Sir Pentious. Honestly, right? Alistair's great. Yeah, Alistair's really cool. But Sir Pentious is like, he's just, oh my god. He's fighting, like, Alistair's like just really cool and in his own top spot. So then Angel and Sir Pentious are kind of battling it out for who's the top favorite, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So D4, Die4, I'm gonna have you're going to tell me which one it is. So what's your opinion on Alistair having sold his soul to Charlie's mum, aka Lilith? I genuinely have had the same thought. That is exactly what my opinion is. They said also, you said this, that you think it's a massive possibility. So they said that he would need to sell his soul to someone better than him for power, for being an overlord. There's not many choices. Yeah, that isn't, yeah. Because you got to imagine that Husk isn't his only victim in that department. that there are other overlords that he would have under his control.
Yeah.
At least like just doing other things. And then so they're saying that I personally believe it's when he was a human, as it said, he manifested overnight. Right. So like it's interesting, right? Because I was kind of like on the same kind of wavelength. I was kind of thinking that he was an occultist in his life as a radio host / serial killer.
Yeah.
And that he knew like where to go and what to do. Obviously, there's not like a road mapping for hell, but like if he is an occultist and had some kind of connection through summoning people, talking to people, we don't know. He could have, like they said, they could have had already deal set up, which would have been really cool. Whoa. Okay. So Vivzy did respond. They are in the same universe, but she didn't say if it happened at the same time. Rubber Duckies is to cope with his divorce. Oh, that's even sadder, right? So this is the thing, right? So I haven't done the super deep dive, right? So I'm doing speculation, and
I'm still in the process of a deep dive, so
I'm taking in. I'm watching the pilot, but I'm watching each series as it comes. I'm not reading everything that like.
Have you not seen the pilot yet?
Not yet. No, I did. You know how much I've been doing today? I have not had the chance. I've been dying to watch it.
See, that's why I thought it was great when I seen Cherry Bomb in the episode, because obviously she's in the pilot.
Yeah. Yeah, she was really cool. We also see Mimsy in episode 5, which is a character that knows Alistair very well and has been using him and has known him since his original life. I full deep dive because I paused to think and just explore instead of watching it full. Yeah,
you should try watching a movie with this guy then. Oh my god, it's a nightmare.
So what I mean is like I'm taking in the pilot and I'm taking in the episodes as they come. I'm not taking in all of everything that's already been released, because then I'll have like too much spoilers for when the show comes, unless they change some of the stuff. And just because of how good the show has been, I really just want to just absorb it all raw, you know. So Alistair, we're all on board that it's Lilith that he has the deal with. We're all just unsure whether it was his life or the second he got to hell. Because if it's the second he got to hell,
can you imagine if he sold it to Adam?
I wouldn't imagine he has any sway there.
Well, but I'm sure he could gather a soul if he wanted to, even if he's an angel.
Maybe, but I would say, like, in my head, like, there's zero chance, because like, he despises them. I mean, he uses them as cannon fodder. I wouldn't imagine.
Yeah, but is he killing? Like, is the purge for him killing them, or is he just collecting them?
No, they're definitely killing him. Have you not seen how brutal it was?
Yeah, but you know,
like, savage. Heads being lopped off, people being impaled. Right. So the 7-year absence with the Lilith and Alistair, I think, had disappeared at the same time.
Yeah.
I think it's connected. And I also wonder how, like, so Lucifer's been an absentee dad for a while with Charlie, so the divorce has to have been gone for a while. So, but then I think Lilith was gone longer, maybe. I don't know. I'm dying to find out. But again, I'm like, there's the converse of not wanting to have it spoiled too much for me. I have to say, I really, really, really did enjoy the portrayal of Lucifer. Very, very interesting. Because a wonderful dreamer, as was described at the start of episode 1, just a true soul, like Charlotte, right? He like as he said in the episode, I've been waiting to see who you are, because Lilith, as um as has been hinted at, seemed to thrive in hell, and kind of lean into her role.
She's the mother of demons, though, isn't she?
Yeah, Lucifer, on the other hand, did not. And obviously, Charlotte is his kin, and he says the apple didn't fall far from the tree. Very funny little metaphor, considering obviously the snake and the apple. Really, really cute. But that being said, he does have the potential, as when he was threatening everybody else about looking after Charlie, like he has the potential to go crazy. Love that. Absolutely love that. Um, he's not allowed to heaven, and like I'm really hoping that he finds a way back, that this whole redemption thing can happen. I think it can happen. There's just too much hypocrisy in heaven, which is really
Yeah.
interesting because, like I said on Darren's stream, we're rooting for the bad guys.
Yeah.
The people in heaven are the bad guys of the story. One thing I love with Alistair is that he lets Nifty climb on him. Yes.
That's because he either created Nifty or summoned Nifty.
Really?
Yeah, you see that in the pilot. Sorry, spoiler alert.
Okay. Huh. She gets a partner from what I've seen in the promotional material. There's like another Nifty.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
So whether that's a spouse, a sibling, whether he just like he creates another one, I don't know. The wonderful, like, okay, so do you think that Alistair was being honest in his song with Lucifer? Do you
No.
think that he is proud? You don't think he's proud of Charlie in any way? You don't think that there's any familial bond, that you think he's only here in the way that Husk is here, that he's being
I think he's there because Lilith wants him there.
So yeah, so in the same way Husk is there, yeah. Okay. I did wonder that. I did wonder.
But at the same time, he might be planning on double crossing Lilith and end up just sticking with Charlie and that. Might grow fond of this lot instead.
See, the thing is like, how much of an enigma is Alistair to Lilith? Because he's an enigma to Zestiel and the Knife Lady and the Dinosaur and all of the other overlords. But
like you said, if he was part of a cult and he'd already sold his soul to her before he got to hell, then there's possible contact between them before that anyway. So
can you imagine? And like, can you? Okay, so like the thing is all of the souls in heaven and hell can transform. Like some of them have the faces of the classic angels from the Bible with the eyes on the cogs, which is really interesting. There's the helmet with like the crossed eye out, which looks like that's death's, like a dead eye. But then their faces change, and then there's some of them that look like the spy versus spy face. You know what I mean? It's like there's weird like shapes for everybody, and they do change. My question is, the bugs that we see, are they bugs or actually like just souls that are lower than low, right? Because you gotta think, hell, there's only so much space like that it could be, and there's how many people that have been alive throughout the ages. Yes, there has been an extermination, but there's the 16% that we've had this year is only a high number because of where we are. If you think about like the progression of life, like we're this far into life and there's a lot of life, plus they kill more than they normally kill in the 16%. So it's normally less than that, maybe 10, maybe 8, maybe 5. We don't know. So, and we don't know how long the extermination has gone on for. It sounds like the Seraph from episode 6, the Seraphim, one of the higher choir of angels. She, from what they were saying, Adam got her to agree to something, and it wasn't all throughout existence, right?
Yeah.
So like he got into heaven just for having divine ordainment or whatever it's called, and then so he just basically gets a free pass unless he commits like a dire mortal sin. So you got to think that
Which he technically is.
Sorry, heaven. Yeah, right. Yeah. So you got to think he was in heaven for like a long time before he got bored and then wanted to do like this whole horrible thing, you know. Demons spawn bugs. Sorry. So I thought the helmet. I did right, especially because of Vaggie, how her eye is. That's obviously because the eye got taken out, right? So a big X on the eye, we know that's death. And then so I was just like, oh man, there's a whole bunch of angels that are just like war ready out there. They've just been through it all. Look at their face. That is. And then she pulled the helmet off this week, and I was like, what? What? Because, and then the reveal. Oh my god! Because last week when I was discussing it on Darren's podcast, I had like the real suspicion that Vaggie was connected to the Knife Lady because their design was a little bit similar.
Yeah.
But no, Vaggie is an angel. Spoiler alert: Vaggie is an angel, which really just adds like so many layers to her relationship with Charlie. And Camilla Carmine, thank you, yes. So yeah, demon spawn bugs, that's really interesting. And Camilla Carmine is the name of the weapons manufacturer for Hell. Each of them operating certain districts, certain avenues of business, which is a whole trip. Because if Alistair came in only 1933, like that's around the same year that television would have existed, right? Because like the TV was made in the 20s, right?
Yeah.
So there wouldn't have been the longest time for TV to end up in hell, at which point Vox would have been like recruiting people for a long time, unless it's only since like the 60s, 70s onwards, I would say, where TV became like a mainstay culture of the home.
Yeah.
So it could be then like early 2000s that Vox, or even the past 7 years where Alistair took a step back and then Vox stepped up after.
Yeah.
Camilla could also be an angel, which is how she gets her hand on holy weapons. One, I didn't know that she deals in holy weapons. That's sick. That could easily explain how she kills the angel. Oh my god, it does. Huh. Okay. Because in my head, I was like, it's because she's an overlord of like a certain level of power. But if she deals in holy weapons, that's literally going to be the answer. Is that she killed him with like one of their own blades? I imagine so. Or it could have been until Vox died. See, you just raised another good point, right? Is that the Overlord are original people, right? And who the hell would Vox have been? And like, are the V's actually connected in any way, or is it just some kind of pact that they've made amongst themselves? Because how Mimsy and Alistair are connected because of their friendship in life.
Yeah.
Do you think the V a magical TV wizard? Yeah. Yeah, he's that guy. He's that guy that kept in the 90s that kept revealing everybody's secrets and then took his mask.
The magician.
Oh my gosh, that was crazy.
And nobody still knew who he was.
Yeah. That was the biggest trick of all. Like, he takes the mask off and everyone's like, who? Valentino is a tremendously disgusting and horrible person. I hope he
Yeah.
gets his comeuppance. And I think a really interesting thing would be that yes, they're in hell, but um, like there's two ways that they could go with the contract, right? They could say, "Oh, it's hell." The logic is that there's no breaks we give you, right? So we're just gonna have a contract that's got "fuck you" written all over it, right? The other way they're gonna go about it is that they're trying to cut them breaks because they're trying to give them redemption and put them in heaven, right? So there is that
Yeah.
break in the logic there. So there could be some clauses in Angel's contract where it says that if he does find some kind of redemption, that he gets free of Valentino.
That would be cool, but I doubt it.
I do too, but like the only other way that it's gonna cancel the contract is either his death or if
Valentino's death.
yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. Either Valentino's death or Charlie pulls rank.
Mm.
Now, Vaggie says that one of the reasons that she loves Charlie so much is that she doesn't use the strength provided, unlike the people that took her eye, right? She uses and chooses to see the best in people to help everybody around them, right?
Yeah.
Um, or could be as a punish, or help, could be hell as a punishment until finished. They can't go to heaven. But the thing about that is that in the show, they've stressed through song, Adam has multiple times that hell is forever and that there's no way around it, where redemption or otherwise. And I think that it just shows how conceited he is, that there's no space for him in paradise for a person that has truly redeemed themselves.
Even
Right?
after they prove that they can be redeemed in
Exactly.
his eyes by his standards. So
Yeah. And it's really funny that the guy had nothing. He had nothing. So, actual person in heaven, what does it take to get here? I need a minute.
So it'd be interesting to see if anything does get to change, though.
See, now, one thing I do know, because before I made the decision not to deep dive, is that Valentino is a person that was alive around the time that the porn industry experienced a boom, and that's when he went to hell, and probably from an OD, if I'm honest. That's when he went to hell and exploded in a similar way to Alistair, but with less menace and ferocity.
Yeah.
Yeah, he kind of like everybody just loved porn, so he just kind of stepped up.
Craziness.
I'm dying to know like if the Alistair's horns mean anything, or if it's just a reference to the fact that he was killed during deer hunting.
Yeah. So it was cool seeing him transform though. It's like killing all of those demons and outside the hotel.
Yeah.
That was awesome. He's like, time to remind these people of who I am.
Yeah. And the really cool thing as well is like he has what seems to like the ability to create minions on minions. So the fact that he's there just having fun using his big shadow tentacles and not even calling on any of the forces,
Yeah.
considering of which he has Husk, a giant ace in the hole, because like that guy is an overlord. Yes, he sold his soul, but it was to save his power. You know what I mean? Like, yes, he would have frittered some away before being left in a position where it was whatever, but then the deal would have been okay, I'll give you X amount back, but I want your soul. You know what I mean? He wouldn't have just sold it for meager coins, you know?
There's going to be gain in there for him somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Lilith is a character that we haven't seen or spoken much of. Like Lucifer himself locked himself away and sat because he himself has, like, the reason that he's disillusioned is one, being punished in the way he was.
Yeah.
He isn't an evil person, an inherently evil person. Hell and the existence of evil is a byproduct of the decision he made to give Lilith agency and not just have her as like the Beth in Percy Jackson movie 1, where she's just there tagging along as like, I'm not even getting into it, but like, yeah. So do you want intelligence? Do you want agency and not to just be bossed around by this giant dick?
Yeah.
Well, here's an apple. Here you go. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And because of that, a whole giant cesspool of malevolence gets created. That's horrendous. Who made these rules? You know? So yeah, so then
God was vengeful back in the day.
Yeah. For real. Yeah. Okay, so what's interesting as well is something that I forgot until really episode 5 is that Adam isn't in charge. There is a whole system hierarchy in heaven above Adam. Right? If like, yes, he's got divine ordainment, but he is still low in the pecking order. There is like whole different choirs of angels. You know what I mean? And not just soldiers that are go around slashing people up. They are actual jobs. They're actual things that they are like controlling in the universe and Earth and stuff.
Yeah, but Adam seems to have something over them still to be in the position that he's in my opinion.
It could be that he's God's favorite. You know what I mean? Like, because like in some portrayals of heaven and earth, as much as like God might like heaven and stuff, like the humans are the favorites, you know?
Yeah, but Adam's a douche.
So in the way that Lilith and the devil step back from hell, I think God has done the same, right? And I think that Eve is running the show. Maybe. There was, wait, the angel that they could have shown could have been Sarah, the seraphim. Because they showed an angel in episode 1 when they were showing Lucifer being banished. They showed a female in white that was doing really well, and then they showed Lilith, the contrast.
Yeah.
I initially thought that was Eve, but in the same way that Adam is like nothing in heaven, I imagine Eve might be the same way, so it could just be Sarah.
Yeah.
But either way, Sarah or Eve, whoever's in charge up there, woman in charge up there, and then we have Eve in charge, Lilith in charge in hell.
Yeah.
What do we think she's doing?
Hey, Lilith.
Yes. What are her plans? What could be taking so long? Because she's all powerful in that place, right? She controls everything. Well, one would imagine as its ruler, right? So, what the hell? I mean, she's not going to be Shawshanking her way up to heaven, right? First with a spoon tunneling into rocks, and then we start getting a bit looser where it's angel delight. Oh, we've reached clouds. Okay, here we go. Keep going. Like, that's not going to happen.
Well, who's running the show down there? Her or Lucifer?
Definitely Lilith until the 7-year absence.
Yeah, but who's been running it since then?
The overlords.
Yeah.
I think that, like, in the same way that you have church and state, right? You have, or whatever you have, like, you got, say, like, in here, you've got the parliament and you've got the king and the queen. I think she's the royalty that would have been in charge. And then now that she stepped back, the infrastructure that was set up are in charge.
Yeah.
At least of their domain. Like, because you got to think, right? Like, hell is going to be like a lot like Earth at this point with how many overlords there are. There's going to be no unclaimed land. There's going to be no unclaimed souls. So, like, anytime that a new soul comes in, you got to think that's going to be like fresh meat for frat houses. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're going to be wanting to get in there quick because that's just going to be people chomping to get in there, which is why, like, hell, like in the same way that heaven has its choir of angels that all have different jobs, different power sets, power levels, and everything else. Hell is the same way. There's like main power overlords that are in charge, lesser overlords like Serpentius, who is just the cutest little fucker there is.
Well, hopefully now that Lucifer knows what type of person his daughter is, he might get his shit together and get some control down there again.
Maybe.
So, you know.
Oh no. Thank God for that. That's what my life. Oh no.
Yeah, that's a good shout.
Alistair is a minion looking over Charlie, getting ready to have a gateway to rage war into heaven. That's his idea, at least. Okay. So that's not something that was in the pilot, then, no?
No.
Okay.
It's a good theory, though.
That's such a good theory. I was like, oh, that's what was in the pilot, then. Okay.
No, the pilot, you just get some good introduction and stuff like that.
Yeah. That's a really good idea. That is a really good idea. Hold on to that, because I'm along the same kind of lines, because you got to think the dawn of human existence, right? In an Abrahamic religion dogma, right? So that's a long time to hold a grudge. Long time to hold a grudge. Long time to sit and harness your power to kind of bring more of your power in to get more powerful, you know?
Yeah.
So Lilith's just gonna, oh my God, they have so many choices with how to portray Lilith.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, though, as well, is she started out in the same sense that Lucifer did, the idealistic dreamer.
Yeah.
I'm going to follow you. I'm going to take your path, right? And then, boom, because I've taken your path, they now are very different people. He became more of himself and retreated into who he is. Like, as you can see from episode 5, he even tried the whole redemption route and like saw that that's not going to work, got told that's not going to work.
Yeah.
And then Lilith went the whole other way, like because of the trauma and the devastation that followed, she went from who she was to somebody completely different that Shell around her is able to help survive the trauma, right? So the question is that when presented with an opportunity from Charlotte or Charlie, whatever you want to call her, and Lucifer, who would be backing her up at that point, of redemption, would she stick to the guns and then go for an all-out holy war, or would she then back up her little girl and then she wouldn't be able to take away the free will, because then that takes out the whole trial of redemption, right? But then she would have to tell like all of the denizens of hell, like, hey, go that way, you know, don't go this way, go that way, go to the hotel, you know?
Yeah, but wouldn't she lose power by doing that, though?
Maybe. The Overlord certainly would.
Yep.
But then if the rules would be that it would apply to everybody, so redemption would be available to everybody. So if they just chose to be managers about it, and then they're just going to be sat there managing a town of empty nobodies.
Yeah.
So proof of this would be from the pilot where Charlie hangs up on her mum, and then Alistair appears. Really good.
Have you watched Lucifer yet, the TV show?
Bits and pieces.
Right, because that ends with him basically counseling the souls in hell so they can like get their redemption and go up to heaven anyway. So
yeah. See, the question I have about that is, like, he turned hell to a purgatory, right? Like the only reason that hell was initially hell for the person is because they were keeping it so, right? Once
yeah,
he interacted with the person, it became purgatory.
yeah,
Unless they kept it that way, right? It became like a therapy session of why are you here? The question is Hazbin Hotel going to skip that step, or is like what Charlie is like circling out, is that supposed to be like the metaphor for purgatory, and that like once you're beyond those walls, that's where everything has to switch off. You can't be your old self. You have to be on a different path. You know,
yeah.
what do you think?
I think it's a good idea and a good theory. I just, I'll be a bit pissed off if they just go for the whole Lucifer route, though.
What do you mean?
Personally, like with the whole, like the whole redemption side of things. I love that theory and that about being able to get out of hell and actually being able to pass over to a better place. That's great. I love that, but I've already seen it.
So you're hoping for a holy war?
Yeah, in a way.
As fun as that might look, I feel like that's gonna get old quick. So then, like after a holy war, what's left for everybody?
Picking up the pieces and rebuilding, because there's going to be great loss on both sides, and like the hierarchies of most of the hierarchies are going to be gone then.
Okay, then like,
and then the younger generation of angels and that are going to be able to change the rules.
Right, but following your logic, right? Like the holy war happens, then either two things happen. One, hell goes back to being hell, and everybody just goes back to what they were doing. Or two, it becomes a paradise of redeemed souls, at which point it becomes what Lucifer was in the first place. So by not having what Lucifer did, they still get what Lucifer did.
Yeah.
So there's no way to avoid.
There's no way out of it, really, is there? But
there isn't. No.
But apart from that, I'm loving the show. I really can't fault it.
There's a lot of talk of Serpentius and him being just like the cutest guy on the show. And I gotta say, I was a little bit unsure about him at first, and then it did not take him long at all to win me over. Like, it was the second he got caught, right?
Putting the part in the camera.
Yeah, because he was funny. He was funny on his little ship. And then like the camera happens, and he's like, "Agents just caught, quick, SOS, get me out of here!" Right? Yeah. Oh my god, it was just adorable.
And then they all just laugh at him.
Yeah. And then so this is interesting, right? Because what I was gonna say is I think that what like yes, he's like he's not a minion, right? So like there's powerful overlords, and then there's like, in my head, there's like mini lords, right? Which is what he is because he has minions. And then there's the low ends, right? So what I was gonna say is that yes, he was like a being of like certain power in hell, but I don't think he was all that bad. I think like Angel Dust, it was somewhat of a reflex and a reaction to his situation.
Yeah.
Because it didn't take long for him to start getting in with the team, already starting down the path. I think he's made a lot more progress than Angel has, like for the amount of time that they've been in there.
Yeah.
So.
Well, yeah, especially considering watching the pilot and like it's basically Cherry Bomb and what's his name, the Snake guy, having a turf war.
Okay.
And then Angel just coming in to help Cherry Bomb out and shit. So, you know.
Brilliant.
So that whole dynamic with him like really trying to hit on Cherry Bomb in the episode was great.
I know.
Do you want to do a shot? Because I bought shots for everyone.
Okay. So like what I was gonna say is that if Serpentius did make the change in the redemption arc, it wouldn't be as powerful and as meaningful as if and when Angel Dust does it, right?
Yeah.
Because I feel like he's already there. Like Angel's further in a hole that needs saving from. You know what I mean?
But at the same time, he also proved that in the eyes of Adam, he's worth redeeming. He'd done everything that was on that bit of paper that Adam said. So he's already, you know.
Yeah, for sure. I'm just saying that he's deeper in the hole. He's harder to get.
You know yeah, of course he is, man. He's in a deep, deep, dark place that he doesn't like. I wouldn't want anyone to be in. It's basically a sex slave.
Exactly. So in my head, that when if Serpentius is the first to do like the first full redemption, unless the episode 6 is to say that Angel has already done it, but you could already argue that Serpentius already did that.
Episode 7.
7, excuse me. 6. So D4 is saying that I think he's still a spy and getting caught was a fake out. Interesting, because if, like I said, right, so Serpentius is further along the line, faster, right? But I think it would make create a bigger, profound feeling if Angel got there first.
Yeah.
Right. Because he's got more work to go. He's got a bigger road to walk. If he gets there first, all the better for it, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So then that would make sense if Serpentius is still a spy.
Yeah.
That would be really cool. I would feel like about it though, because like I love him. I love that dude and his big beautiful eyes, right? And it like when he's putting on the old puppy dogs.
I love when he gets asked if his hat's like a part of him or is it sentient because it's got an eye.
Yeah. Okay. Oh.
So it begs the question: is it an actual eye or is it a camera? So is he still spying?
Ooh. Nah, that's an idea, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's funny as well because, like, for the most part, it looks where he looks.
Yeah.
I don't think I think the only time that I've seen it look in an opposite direction is in fan art. But oh my god, I wonder what that like if they were having a territory feud, why he is trying to seduce her for the episode.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. Just like to go from where they were in that pilot episode to that episode was great. Because obviously they were going to fight at the start of it when they first kind of seen each other.
See, now the context of like seeing Vaggie interact with Heaven and everybody else with the realization that she is now an angel.
Like, yeah, one of Adam's angels of all angels.
I know that he named.
Yeah.
So how old is she? It's crazy. Like, so how many exterminations is Charlie going to have to forgive her for next week?
Oh, yeah.
But like I said to you, like off stream, Charlie can only be so angry because what's really interesting is that Vaggie is basically her dad at this point. She's like a fallen angel. So Charlie's there with daddy issues, and she's basically dating her dad without knowing it.
Yeah.
Like, how much of a trip is that?
And then that also begs the question: if she's a fallen angel, how powerful is she?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God, dude, that whole song of like, I'll protect you, I'll be your armor and stuff like that. Wow.
The whole time she was still wearing it. Like a mask, the angel mask and shit like that.
But she isn't.
Well, no. But you know what I mean.
Yeah. And then like
It kind of is, because she's lying. She's still wearing an armor to protect herself.
yeah. And then like Carmine singing that if she does have access to holy weapons. Mm. And how has she got kids?
Don't know how that all works.
I mean, obviously, I understand the birds and the bees, and obviously,
Well, yeah, obviously.
somebody in hell is there making babies.
I understand the sex trophies and that, yeah.
Who did?
Who killed her kids?
Dun, dun, dun. Okay, so with the while they're typing that out, right? With the realization that Vaggie is indeed an angel, I would love if they would have already met.
Carmilla.
But Charlie doesn't know.
Yeah.
Carmilla killed her kids? Or she's the reason? Oh, damn. Right, but okay, so no. Right, in my head, they have to have been born in hell, right? Because they're going for a religious dogma, and in the Bible, like up until you're 8, you have like complete leniency. You can basically do anything and not go to hell. And then like when you're 12, it's like 8, and then like 12, there's another step. But like 8, you're fine, carte blanche. But it depends how old they are in the show.
I know that some of the lower form demons can be born in hell, which is pretty crappy for them. Can you imagine, like, being a demon born in hell, and then somebody that's just come to hell gets all of the powers of an overlord and stuff like that?
Not only that, but just because of your, somebody's going to come along and try and kill you.
Yeah.
Just for their sport and their fun. That is horrendous. That is horrendous, and truly paints heaven in a very, very particular light. Oh my God. As well, it was Vaggie's sister in arms that cut her eyes. It wasn't even Adam that cut her eye out. He just commanded it to happen.
I know. Asshole. Done a really good job of not making you like Adam in this series, I know.
Yeah, unless he's singing. And then then he can kind of kick a beat.
They've smashed it with every single like song they've done. Every musical note in that series has been fantastic so far.
See, I would say yes with an asterisk in that yes, the songs are good, but I won't say that I've liked all of them as much as I've liked some of them. Right? Because the songs in episode 4 are untouchable.
Yeah.
Untouchable. Like they are just added now to my music repertoire for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, but Lucifer and Alice's song as well, that was great.
Really, really good this week. Really, really good this week. I'm more thinking of See, I want to say, wait, no, because the Hazbin Hotel song was kind of good. And then I think it was one of the songs in episode 1. And then we had the It Starts With Sorry song. That was kind of okay. And then there was another one in episode 2 I think I wasn't that fond of. I can't remember. And then I'll Be Your Armor was kind of good. But then there was another one in 3. I can't remember. But then 4, like I said, both of those completely untouchable, phenomenal songs. And then the ones in 5 were good as well.
Yeah.
Oh no, wait, what about 6? Wait. 5 with Lucifer and Alistair, good. I can't really remember. It was a song about heaven, isn't it? How good heaven was.
Yeah.
That's 5 again. Those were good. And then 6 was Adam's song and with Charlie, and I think there was another one.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Mm.
So getting pretty late, dude. Brain's starting to shut down now.
Okay. So yeah, so next week I'm gonna be messaging everybody, but we're gonna because it's the finale of Percy, we're gonna be doing a nice big deep dive into it, and talking about the differences in the show and the movies, and how and where they went differently. Okay, so I hope everybody joins me then, and we'll be talking about the season finale of Hazbin Hotel and doing as much of a deep dive on that because I'll be taking a whole bunch of notes next week. I didn't really get time this week.
And thank you guys all for joining us in the chat.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody.
I really appreciate that.
Thank you, Taj, for stopping by. It's been wonderful having you here. And then Daniel.
Thank you, Taya.
My wonderful, beautiful soulmate. And then D4 and Pash the cat. Wonderful new additions to the chat. So thank you for stopping by. And see you all next week.
See you next week.